Hi students. Next to disk structure and disk attachment, this is important topic, that is disk scheduling. As we know that whenever we have the number of requests to read the data or to write the data, whatever the case is, even in mobile or in traditional system, we will be sending some number of requests, like download a picture or attaching a picture in WhatsApp, or keeping your DP in Facebook. So all those things are the requests that you made to the system to fetch from the secondary storage devices. If you have the number of requests to store or to retrieve from the secondary devices, the OS will be scheduling your request based on the type of scheduling algorithm. So it will say what are the number of requests you have made and where and all the data have been stored in the disk, and it will be applying some scheduling algorithms to perform your request. So this is where disk scheduling algorithm helps for an OS to schedule it in an efficient way. So I hope you understand. So we will be passing some number of requests to read and write the data from the secondary storage devices. So your request will be not located in a single location. It will be distributed throughout the disk. Like the request for your data will be located in the sector 16. Similarly, your next request will be located in the sector 168. So it will see where the requests have been stored in the disk position, and it will apply some scheduling algorithm, and it will be retrieving or reading your data onto the disk. So that is what. So OS is responsible for using the hardware efficiently for the disk drives. It is the responsible for fast access time, and even the disk bandwidth has to be maintained. And by using this scheduling algorithm, it minimizes the seek time in the sense, to retrieve the data you no need to wait for a longer time. And seek time is totally dependent on the seek distance. Assume that your data has been located in the sector 16, then the fetching time will be very less when compared with the data located in the sector 168 or 268. So that is what the seek time is totally dependent on the seek distance. And here the disk bandwidth means the total number of byte transferred, which means if you are loading some more amount of data, then it will be divided, and based on the request for service it will be completing the transfers. So it is totally dependent on the number of bytes you are transferred for the request. And here comes this scheduling algorithms. So there are many sources of disk IO requests, like you can request for system process or user process or for OS. And even when you request for IO, it will be including some input mode, what are the input devices involved in it, or output, and disk address, memory address, and number of sectors to transfer your data. And for all those things, OS will be maintaining a queue of requests, which mean it will be having device queue. In device queue, all your requests will be stored, and based on that request it will be performing the response to the each and every request. And it will be working based on the IO request first, and if the disk is having enough IO, it will be providing to it. Most probably it will use some optimization algorithm, so that it will be clearing the queue then and there. So that is what here is. And we have many number of algorithms. In this we are going to see some two categories of algorithm mainly, which is very important. And apart from that too, we have one more algorithm included in this scheduling algorithms. So first one is FCFS, which means first come first serve. Which request is first, that will be responded first. That is what the concept of FCFS. Next comes similar to shortest job first in job scheduling algorithm we have seen. So similar to that, here we have shortest seek time first, which means SSTF, shortest seek time first. Which one is having the shortest job, which one is very nearer in the disk, that will be responded first. This is very commonly used algorithm, SSTF. And leaving this two, we have, if we have some bulk amount of data to be stored or to be transferred, At that case, it applies scan algorithm, SEAN, scan algorithm. And in scan, it is further divided into C-scan and lookup scan. Let's see one by one along with the example. So here they have given one problem. If it is visible, you can see this one. So with a request of a disk which is having the sectors from request queue with the numbers 0 to 199, which mean a disk is holding the data from the position 0 to 199. In middle, any of the data is required, we can pass the request. So this particular application have requested an queue with the numbers of date with the positioning of this disk like 98, 183, 37, 122, 14, 124, 65 and 67. So if OS look at the device queue, it will find out these numbers, which mean in these positions of the disk the data is requested by the user. So 98, 183, 37 and 122, 14 and 124, 65 and 67. So these are the numberings where the data is requested from the disk. And currently the head is at the pointer of 33. So in the disk sector, currently the head is located in 53. From 53 it has to fetch the data in the above mentioned positions. And this is the first algorithm, first come first serve. As I told you, which request entered first in the queue, that will be responded first. So it shows the illustration of the head movements of 640 cylinders, which mean that 640 discs are there in a spindle, and in that how the requisition have been responded by the OS using FCFS algorithm. So here we know the queue consists of the numbering of positions, and head is starting at the position 53. So the first is the head starts at the position 53, so it is located in 53. And since it is first come first serve basis, it won't see any position is nearer to 53. It will be directly moving to the first request 98. So from 53 you could see that the position went to 98. And what is the next number? It's 183. Yeah, so from 98 it will move to 183. Then third request is 37, so it directly moved to 37. It never seen any of the requests is there in the middle. It never bother about it. Since it is first come first serve, it responds based on the number based on the request. So from 183 it moved directly to 37. Again from 37 to 122, and next number is 14. From 14 to 124 and 124 to 65, and finally 65 to 67. This is how FCFS works. Clear? And next algorithm, as I told you, this is very popular algorithm, shortest seek time first. In the previous example, you might have seen the drawback as even from 35 it started at 53. From 53 65 is nearer, and from 65 67 is nearer, but it never mind that one. Simply it took seek time, and it took more time to go based on the number based on the request which is entered as per the device queue. So to overcome the drawback, here we have SSTF. So it will be selecting the request with the minimum seek time from the current head position. If it started from 53, from 53 which are the nearer positions, those requests will be responded first, and it will be keep moving. It is a form of SJF, which means shortest job first algorithm in process scheduling. And here the problem is it may cause starvation in the sense indefinite blocking, which mean a person requested for a device in the very earlier stage which has been located in 128 or 223 cylinder, but to respond to that it will take more time, so it will cause some starvation. That is one of the drawback here. Let's see how it works. The same example, the queue is containing some positions of disk, and head starts at 53. Since it is shortest seek time first, you see how it works. It started at 53, and what is the nearer number to 53? It is 65. So it responded to the request of 65. From 65, 67 is nearer, and when compared with 98 and 37, 37 is nearer, so it performs that request. And then from 37 to 14, and from 14 to 98, 98 to 122, then 124, and finally 183. It never mind in which way it entered, which request entered first and all. Is just seen from the head position which are the requests very nearer. Based on that seek time, it performed all the responses. This is how shortest seek time first works, but here the drawback is there is a possibility for starvation. And next algorithm is scan. To avoid that scan, here we have the elevator algorithm. It is also called as scan algorithm or elevator algorithm. How it works in the sense, the disk arm starts at one end of the disk. Assume that if it is 53 and it will be moving towards the other end, either it can be left or right. If it moves towards the left, it will see what are the requests it is there in the left end. It will be clearing all those requests, and from the left end it will be start moving towards the right end, and throughout the right end what are the requests are there, all those things will be served together. So this is how it works. But what is the drawback is, if the requests are uniformly dense, which means the large number of requests are there, then it has to wait for a longer time. Assume that it starts from 53 and it is moving towards 0, then it will take some less time. Whereas if it starts from 0 and it is moving towards 260, then the request from the 224 disk have to wait for a longer time, because it has to move from 53 to 0 and again from 0 to 224. So ultimately the seek time will be very long. So that is what the drawback of this one. Let's see how this works. The same example, the queue has certain positioning and it starts at 53. As I told you, it will move towards one end. From 53 it is moving towards a left end till 0 first. So the request in between 53 to 0 is, we know that 37 and then 14. So it respond to 37 first, then 14, and from there it didn't return. It will go for the entire dead end, that is till 0 it will be moving. From 14 to 0 there is no request, so again from 0 it starts moving towards the right. So from 0 the next request is 65, then 67, 98, 122, 124, 183. It won't stop here, it will be continuing till the end of the disk. So this is how the scan works. So here you could see that from 14 to 0 and there is no request, but still then it moves. This is one of the drawback here. So here to overcome this drawback, we have next algorithm, that is C-scan. What it will do is, instead of moving to a complete end, it will see on the way what are the requests are there. Those requests will be satisfied. So this is to provide a uniform wait time than the scan, and head moves from one end of the disk to another, but it will serve what are the requests are there as it goes. It will be traversing from one end to another end. In the middle, if there is any request, that will be responded based on the queue, based on the positioning in the queue. When it reaches to the other end, however, it will be immediately returning to the beginning of the disk and without serving any request on the return trip. So here it will take how many number of requests are there. In the previous case we have chosen the left end where there is only 2 requests are there, but here if it is in the right end there are more number of requests are there. So it will be choosing right end and it will be serving all the requests. Then it will move towards the left, and from left it will be responding to the other request. Let's see how it works. The same problem, 98 to 67 positioning are there in the queue. Head starts at 53. Now you see it chooses right end. Why? Because the number of requests are more, and while going towards the right end it will be serving all the requests in the right end. So 53 to 65, then 67, 98, 122, 124, then 183. It won't stop in that 183, it will move towards the end. So it went till 199, and again while returning it won't serve any of the request which is already been served. So directly it will move to 0, from 0 to 14 and again 37. So there we have the difference between scan and cscan is, in case of scan, it chooses the left end where it is minimal requests are there, whereas cscan will look at the device queue first, where it could able to provide the more number of requests. That form of traversing it will be choosing. So on the way it will be doing all the responses for the request, but while returning it won't respond to any of the requests like 37 and 14. It won't respond. Instead it will move to the dead end, and from there it will be moving the disk again to respond to the leftover request. This is how the cscan works. Here also the problem is moving towards the end. Even if there is no request, it will move towards the end. Like in the right, it moved from 183 to 199 without any request, and also from 0 to 14 there is no request. This will be overcome with the help of lookup scan. Let's see this one. So this is clook. It is version of scan, and clook is version look is a version of a scan, that is cscan. And here the arm only goes as far as the last request in each direction. If the last request is in 183, it will go up to 183 only in each direction as well. It won't go for the end of the particular disk. Then reverses direction immediately. Without going to the 0 position, it will stop in the 14th position. So before going for implementation, it will look up what are the positioning available in the queue, and based on the lookup it will be responding to the request. Let's see the example. The same problem: 98, 183, 37, 122, 14, 124, 65 and 67, and here the edge starts at the position 53. Now you see it is also a part of scan algorithm. So it chooses the right end. Why? Because the number of requests are more. So 53 to 65, then 67, 98, 122, 124 and 183. In the previous two cases, like in scan and cscan, it went till 199, whereas here it stopped in 183 and it came back to 14th position, not the 0th position. In previous example it went till 0, but here it stops at 14, and from 14 it responded to the request 37. So this is what the difference between cscan and clook. Then comes how to select a disk scheduling algorithm. So the most commonly used is shortest seek time first, and apart from that, if we have a heavy load of data in the disk, more number of data are there, then we can choose scan as cscan to provide an efficient seek time with less starvation. And the performance is purely dependent on the number and the type of request what we are making for the disk retrieval. And even the request for disk service, it will be influenced by the file allocation method. So it is also dependent on the file allocation method. So if we choose some better strategy of file allocation like folders and with proper naming and proper indexing, then it is easy to fetch the data from the disk. And this scheduling algorithm, it is should be written as a separate module of OS. And why? Because it is purely different from process scheduling. We should not mix up with both. So based on the application and the type of usage of the mobile, the OS will be using some specific algorithms for this scheduling. And even if we can have if it is required, it will be replacing it with different algorithms at different timings. For by default, if there is some minimal usage of disk and all, it will be either using SSTF or look for reasonable choice as a default algorithm. Why? Because you could see that the seek time will be very less and your disk will be working efficiently. And if you have bulk amount of data, to avoid starvation, it will be using scan algorithm, lookup scan algorithm instead of SSTF. So these among these two, some will be used as a default algorithm. So this is what disk scheduling and disk scheduling algorithms are. So your data will be stored in the disk and you will be sending some requests for IO or for OS, whatever the case is. all your request has to be fetched from the disk. So it will be storing all the request in the queue, and it will apply some disk scheduling algorithm like FCFS, SSTF, scan, and based on the request it will be providing the response. For that it will be using any of the scheduling algorithm to make the request and response more efficient than the normal one. Thank you.